Hello everyone, Gaza Mutkarsh, and I welcome you all to this session in data handling in Excel. So guys, let's have a look at the agenda for this session. The agenda for this session includes understanding the advanced formulas, essentially the Vlookup, Hlookup, and the index and match. So guys, so far till the previous session, we have discussed how to clean data, essentially in terms of handling missing values, handling duplicates, converting text to columns, and we have also seen how to utilize conditional statements and logical operations as well using if and or. Right, so guys, let's proceed with let's switch to the Excel screen. So guys, over here we are in the Excel. Now let's observe the data at hand, and then we'll look up. Then we are going to understand how to utilize the VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, and the index match, starting with VLOOKUP first. So guys, the data that we have over here contains roll number, name, age, score, and location. Right, this is the data that we have, and let's say my data range. Let me write it here. So the data, clearly we can see it is from A2 all the way up to E14, right? So the data is from A2 to E14. This is what this is where my data is. Now, when we talk about VLOOKUP, VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup, right? So let's say in the left to right direction. In the left to right direction, we can search for the corresponding data based upon the function arguments. So for instance, someone asked me what is the roll number. Given the roll number, I need to fetch the name, age, score, and location, maybe onto the same sheet or onto the different sheet. So to implement this, what can be done? We can utilize VLOOKUP. Why are we using VLOOKUP? Because roll number is present on the extremely left, and based on roll number, I can, let's say, vertically look up for name, age, score, and location. All right. So guys, considering this is the range that we have. Let's understand how the VLOOKUP formula works. So suppose first we'll be implementing the static VLOOKUP, as in cell by cell I'll be finding the values, then we'll proceed towards the dynamic approach. So over here I'm having I want to fetch the details for the roll number 125. So for roll number 125, the name is Pulkit, the age is 25, the score is 74, and the location is Bangalore. This is the information that we have. So this is what I want to capture over here. So how would I fetch this using VLOOKUP? So let's understand this. Over here, if I were to fetch the name, first of all, I'll be writing VLOOKUP, and inside the VLOOKUP, my lookup value is going to be, what is it that I'm looking for? I'm looking for the roll number 125. Now there are two ways I can hard code this, or I can use the cell reference. To refer to the cell, I have to mention where is 125 mentioned. 125 is present in the cell G4. So over here I'm writing G4. Now what is my table array? My table array is A2 to E14. This is the range into which this data is present, right? So my data is from roll number, name, age, score, and location. So we have 5 columns and we have a total of 14 rows. So the data is from A2 to E14. Now because this data is not going to change, means the entire VLOOKUP we are going to understand through this data only. So I need to freeze this, because if I move a cell down or if I move a cell right, this, let's say, the cell reference might change. So this is where freezing is required. For freezing, I can press F4. All right. So as you can see, this A2 to G14 has been freezed, or this has been frozen. Now this G4, because currently I just have one value, so I choose not to freeze this. All right. And then I have to pass the column index number. So considering the roll number as index 1, because this is the first column, name would be index 2, age would be index 3, score would be index 4, and location would be index 5. So if I need to find the, let's say, name, so name is present at index 2, then am I looking for the approximate match or the exact match? So I'm looking for the exact match, so I can write false or I can write 0. False and 0 are the same thing. So now if I enter, over here I'm getting Pulkit. So just observe the formula. I'll be mentioning the formula over here. This is the formula that I've used, right? Now as far as just capturing one cell is concerned, I do not need to let's say freeze this data. I simply do not need to freeze this data. Now next, if I were to fetch age, how would I write? I'll be writing VLOOKUP, and inside the VLOOKUP my lookup value is G4, the table array is A2 to E14, and my column index number would be, for age it is 3 and then 0. So guys, as you can see, we are using the same formula, right? We are using the same formula. I did not freeze it as well. All right, I've not frozen this as well, and then maybe I can simply freeze this if need be, and then enter. So Pulkit, as you can see, has an age of 25. Now I can simply copy this. I'll be pasting it over here, and instead of 3 I'll be writing 4, and I'll paste it here again, and instead of 4 I'll be writing 5. So guys, as we can see, for one particular row I'm able to fetch the entire data. Alright, for one particular row I'm able to fetch the entire data. Now what if, so the formula used is this, right? This is the formula that I've used. If I wanted to make this formula draggable, slightly more dynamic, so maybe suppose I want to fetch details for 128 and maybe 130 as well. So what I'll do, for first row I'll be writing it like this. So this is Vlookup. I'm looking for G5 and my table array is A2 to E14, and I need to freeze this. I'm freezing this, and this is G5, right? So I've frozen the G part because when we scroll down to 130, roll number 120, the 5 would still be, let's say 5 can be draggable, right? 5 would become 6. So this is what I've done. And then the column array index. So currently if I'm writing 2, alright, currently if I'm writing 2 and then 0. So over here I'm able to fetch Dhruv. Now suppose if I drag this, so this is only giving me Dhruv, right? This is only giving me Dhruv. Okay, so we'll handle that part. Now if I drag this like this, why am I getting Vinay? Because over here I'm having G5, but in the cell for the cell G6, the value over here is Vinay. So this is draggable vertically. Alright, now over here what should I write? I should be writing, instead of 2 I'll be writing 3. Alright, instead of 2 I'll be writing 3. Rest everything remains same, and I can drag this. Likewise over here I'll be writing 4, and this becomes draggable. So if you observe, for Dhruv we have the age 24 and the score is 80, and likewise I'll make this 5, and again this becomes trackable. So guys, this is the formula used, but this was completely static. To make it more dynamic, means to fetch the column names dynamically, over here I'm using another concept. Let's understand this. So I've mentioned the column index over here, right? So on purpose I've changed the column index numbers. So how would now I'd be using it? So suppose over here, now we can drag this to make this work entirely, but currently I'll be showing you for one cell. Over here I'll be writing, let's say Vlookup, then the cell reference over here is G12, and the table array is A2 to E14. Alright, and the column index number that I need to fetch is present over here. So 2354, and this has to be draggable, right? This has to be draggable. So to make this work entirely, what I'll be doing, because see, name is present at index 2, age is present at index 3, location is present at index 5, and score is present at index 4. So I've mentioned the columns like this. So where are these 2354? The value, where is the value written? So it is mentioned in this is 10, all right, and this is G10. So I'll be writing G10, G11 in fact. This is G11 and then 0. So currently this is not at all draggable, so I have to make dynamic. To make this slightly dynamic, I'll be making these changes. Currently I'm freezing A2 to E14 because the table reference needs to be frozen. For G12 I'm freezing the G part because when we drag it down, 12 should move to 13, 13 should move to 14. Now as far as G11 is concerned, currently I've mentioned G11, right? What if I write this range? G11 to, this is not G11, right? G11. Okay, this is not G11. I'm assuming this is H12. This is H12. Just a minute. What is this cell? The cell is H10, right? This is H10. So to make this work, I'm using H10. All right. Now I need to make it this draggable. So H10 to this is H10 to H10. So when I'm writing H10 to H10 means this is just one particular cell. So to make it draggable, so H10 would be frozen. All right. Now after H10, what do I need? After H10, I need H11, I10, right? After H10, I need I10, then J10 and then K10. So what should I freeze? 10 should be frozen, right? Over here, this 10 should be frozen. So if I execute this now, so see, for 123, the name that I'm fetching is Priya. Now if I drag this, So guys, as you can see, for Priya the age is 24, the score is the location is Noida, and let's say the city is Delhi. The location is Noida and the score is 71. Now I can drag this. So this is, let's say, horizontal drag, and then I can drag this vertically as well. So for 125 the information is Pulkit, and over here we have Anita for 132, and all the details are correct. As you can see, all the details are correct. So this is another approach. So what is the formula used? The formula that I've used is this. All right, and this was the formula that I used over here, and this is the formula that I've used over here. Now to make it more dynamic, over here I'll be utilizing the concept of there's a function called columns. So over here, suppose I'm using, I want to know what is the count of columns, let's say ranging from A1 to D1. So A1 to D1, how many columns are present? 4. If I were to check A1 to C1, how many columns are present? So we have 3. So this is the function that returns the number of columns between a specified range. All right. So utilizing this concept, how can we, let's say, make the Vlookup more dynamic using the columns function? So let's have a look. So over here, I'm populated with some roll numbers. I need to fetch name, age, score, and location. So how can this be done? How can we implement this? Let's understand the concept. Over here, I'll be writing Vlookup. All right. And in the Vlookup, my lookup value that I have over here is N3. This is N4. And then my table array is A2 to E14. And the column index numbers are, over here I'll be writing columns, and in the column, see, name is at index 2, right? Then age is at index 3. So over here I'll be writing A2 to B2. All right, A2 to B2, and then 0. So let's freeze this. So this N4, in this N4 we can freeze N. In A2 to E14 I'll be freezing this entirely, and as far as the columns is concerned, I'll be freezing A2 like this, and as far as B2 is concerned, see, 2 will be frozen because we have the same row, we are freezing it in the same row. All right, but as far as B is concerned, B should move to 3 for age, B should move to D for score, and B should move to E for location. So this makes it dynamic. All right, this makes it more dynamic. So I'm fetching for the N4, I'm fetching this information from A2 to E14, this entire table array. And what is the column that I need to fetch over here? The first, it would be A2 to B2. So A2 to B2 would return 2. Then in the cell age, it would become A2 to C2. So this would return the corresponding age, and then the same, let's say, concept is applied for score and location as well. So if I press Control Enter, so this gives me the entire data, right? So for 121, you can check it's Animesh. For 122, Ankit, and the other details are correct as well. So what is the formula that we have used over here? The formula used over here is this. This is the formula that we have used. All right. So guys, moving forward, let's head on to the Hlookup part. So Hlookup is very much similar. So this is the table. Now the table is present in the horizontal fashion. We have roll number, name, age, score, and location, and let's say what is the data range. So the data is present from C2 to 06, right? Data is present from C2 to 06. So for roll number 125, if I need to fetch the name and age, how would I do this? Over here, I'll be writing Hlookup. This is Hlookup, and so over here I'll be writing Hlookup. All right, and in the Hlookup, what is my lookup value? My lookup value would be C9. All right, C9 I need to fetch in the table array C2 to 06. And what is the row index number? Now in Vlookup we pass the column index number. In Hlookup we have to pass the row index number. So over here my row index number would be, name would be 2 and then 0. So guys, for 125 I'm clearly able to fetch the data for Pulkit, and likewise if I copy this, so for age, instead of 2 I'll be writing 3. All right, so the age is 25. Likewise, I can fetch the score and the location as well, but this was completely static. All right, so this is static. This is the static implementation of Hlookup. All right, this is clearly the static implementation of Hlookup. Now moving forward, over here we have the dynamic Hlookup with rows. So we have roll number, name, age, score, and location. So we have these 4 roll numbers, and in the previous let's say sheet we have seen how to utilize the columns concept. Likewise, I can use the rows concept as well. So if I want to count the number of rows, I want to count the number of rows from B2 to, let's say, B5. So B2 to B5, how many rows are present? We have 4 rows, right? So this is what this is the concept that we'll be utilizing. So let's say I'm selecting this entirely. Then over here I'll be writing Hlookup. In the Hlookup, my lookup value is I9, I10, all right, and the table array range is C2 to O6, and then I'll be writing rows. In the rows, I need to start from maybe C2. All right, I'm starting from C2, and this will go up to C3 and then 0. So I'll change this. So after I10, I can freeze 10 because I would change to J. C2 to O6 would entirely be frozen, and then for C2, over here we have the C2, right? So let me freeze C2. Now, as far as the C3 is concerned, what can be frozen over here? See, I can freeze the C part, right? Because the column would be constant. It's just the number that has to be changed. So after C2, we should end up fetching C3. Then it should become C4 and so on. So if I press Control Enter now, so guys, as you can see, we are able to fetch this entire data dynamically using the Control Enter. So for 127, as you can see, the name is Ankush. For 131, the name is Ujjwal. All right, and for 130, the name is Vinay. Likewise, for Ujjwal 131, the age is 28, score is 91, and the city is Noida. For Ankit 122, we have Ankit 23, 63, and Mumbai. So guys, as you can see, we have dynamically implemented this formula, and this is the formula used. All right, and this is the, let's say, static formula which we have used over here. All right, so guys, this was the concept about Vlookup and Hlookup. Now moving forward, we'll understand the concept of index and match. Suppose we have this data over here where I'm passing a couple of car brands. So we have Maruti, Tata, Toyota, Kia, Hyundai, and Nissan. And so the data range over here is from B2, B3 to B8, right? So the data is from B3 to B8. Now we have two functions, index and match, and they are, let's say, commonly used together for the purpose of, let's say, utilizing, means handling more complex cases of Vlookup and Hlookup. Now Vlookup, let's say, searches from in the vertical direction starting from the first column on the left. Likewise, Hlookup starts searching from in the, let's say, top to bottom order, horizontal lookup based on the first column on the top. All right. Now, if it is not the case, then this is where we need to step into the index and match. So index simply returns, let's understand what it returns. Index returns the value present at a given index, right? So I suppose if I'm searching for the index 5, so at index 5 we have 1 2 3 4 5, it's Hyundai. So over here I'd be writing index, and then what is my array? The array is B3 to B8, right? And what is the value that I need to find? I need to find let's say F3. So what am I getting? I'm getting Hyundai. So if I change it to 3, this becomes Toyota. If I change it to 4, it becomes Kia. If I change it to 6, it becomes Nissan. So index return value present at a given index. And what about match? So suppose if I'm searching for Kia, so what is the index of the index of Kia? This is what it returns. So here I just need to write match. All right, and match may what would be my lookup value? My lookup value over here would be, let's say this is going to be I3. All right, in I3 my lookup array would be B3 to B8, and then what is the match type? It is going to be an exact match, so 0. So Kia is present at index 4. So over here if I write Nissan, so Nissan is present at index 6. So guys, this is how we can utilize the concept of index and match. But currently we are not utilizing it for a table. We have only utilized it, let's say, for a particular column. So to utilize it for entirely a table, let's understand how would we frame some examples. How do we work on a couple of examples? So guys, this is our data. The table range that we have over here is from B2 to E31. All right, this is B3. This is essentially B3 to E31. I'm having employee name, contact, email, and employee ID. The data is present till E31. Now, employee ID is clearly not present as the leftmost column. It is present on extremely right. So under normal circumstances, I cannot use VLOOKUP normally, right? With a couple of advanced functions, it's still possible, but normally we won't be using VLOOKUP for this case. So means I cannot use HLOOKUP as well. So the other option that I'm left with is to utilize the index and match. So for 1005, I need to fetch, let's say, ename, contact, and email, right? So over here, I'm writing index. What is my array? The array that I'm looking for is B3 to E31. This is my entire table range. All right. Now in this table range, what is the row number? So for row number, I'll be writing match. My lookup value is H3. And where do I need to search this H3? I need to search this H3 in E3 to E31 and then 0. All right. So this should return me. This is what is it going to return? This is simply going to return the row number, right? This is simply going to return the row number. Now, as far as the column number is concerned, I can simply use the columns concept. And in the columns concept, maybe over here, I'll be passing email name and contact, right? So over here, I can pass, let's say B2 to B2. That's it. Now let's try to freeze this. So B3 to E31 will be entirely frozen. So in H3 I can freeze the H. In E3 to E31 I can freeze this entirely. In this B2 to B2, first of all I'll be freezing B2. And as far as the second B2 is concerned, over here let's say 2 will be frozen, right? 2 will be frozen. B will have to move to 2 and 3. So if I press enter, I do get the record. So for 1005, what is my information? It is Michael Chen. So if I drag it, I'm fetching these details, right? So what is the formula that I've used? This is index with only single match. Over here, I've utilized index with single match. And the formula used is this. This is the formula that I've used. Now, next I'll be writing index with double match. Double match means I'll be utilizing the match function twice. Let's see how can this be done. So the remaining part would be same. I can simply copy this. All right. So this is B3 to A1, and instead of the columns function, I'll try to match what is it that I'm going to match? I'll be matching the column names present over here. Means I'll be trying to match the e name which is present in I2. All right. So over here I'm writing I2. I2 is this. This is the e name. Now where do I need to search this e name? E name has to be present from B2 to D2. All right. So this would give me the column number, the corresponding column number. Now there are a couple of things that I might need to freeze. So in I2 has to move to J2, right? So I should freeze 2, and B2 to D2 I'll be freezing, let's say over here I'll be freezing B2, and so from B2 to D2, wherever it is present, I can freeze this part as well, it seems. Let's see. So okay, so when I'm writing B2 to D2, right, I have to search it over here. So I should be writing B2 to B2, because the search has to be dynamic, and 2 can be frozen over here. Let's see. Yeah, so it returns so 1021. It is returning 1021. All right, let's see the issue over here. Okay, I'm searching for H3. This is not H3, this would be H4, right? This would be H4. So now if I run this for 1021, it is Daniel Chen. All right, so this logic is correct. Now I can simply drag this. So for contact, I'm getting an NA value. Let's see. So this is index B32, then so this becomes J2. Yes, and B2 to C2. So this should be returning some value. All right. Okay, but the email part is correct. The email part is absolutely correct. So this is H4, E3 to E31. Then in the match over here, I'm writing B2 to B2. So this should become B2 to C2. So from B2 to C2, this should return the column number as 2. So let's see. Okay, let's debug this. So if I'm simply writing this I2 and then B2 to I2, so this is returning 1. This is returning 1. All right, and if I use this, if I'm using this, let's see what it returns. So this is returning 21. 21 is the row number, but over here I'm getting 1. So, okay, had it been 2, had this been 2, so this is index, and yeah, this is, I need to close this bracket. So now I'm getting this, right? So over here I need to fetch 2, but when I'm writing this b2 to b2, currently this is returning 1 only. So b2 to b2, we have to move left to right. So b2 to b2, 2 has to be frozen, and then I2. Okay, so this I should become j, right? This I should become j over here. Let me drag this again. Yeah, so okay, I'm not getting the contact, but I'm getting this. All right, for some reason, let's see, it's not working. Let's try to work on this. Currently, let's try to work on this, and then we'll come to this part, right? So to handle this over here, we can utilize this. This is the logic that I'll be using. I'm writing this part, and based on this, then I'll be correcting this. All right. So see, I need to fetch the entire data. Over here, I'll be fetching the entire data. So what can be done? I'm selecting this entirely, and then just observe the formula. So the formula that I'm using is index B3 to B31. This is the B3 to E31, the entire table array. What am I matching? I'm matching H10, which is the employee ID, to E3 to E31. So the employee ID is present in E3 to E31. Then I'm matching I9 with B2 to B2. Where is I9? I9 is this column, and I'm matching it with B2 to B2, right? So as you can see, this B2 has been frozen entirely. Okay, I did not mention 0, I guess. And then if I press Control Enter, so guys, we are fetching the entire data. Yeah, I did not mention 0. That was the issue. Most likely this was the issue. Yes. So guys, as you can see, this is what I'm getting, right? And this is how I've utilized, let's say, the index and match. So first, I need to pass the array, and then using the match I'm passing the row number, and then using the second match again I'm passing the column number, right? So let me write the formula over here. So guys, this is the formula that I've used. This is the formula that we have used. So I can get rid of this, and this is index with double match, and this is entirely dynamic to drag to the entire table. All right, so guys, that brings us to the end of this session. So let's switch to the PPT. So guys, in this session, we have understood, we have seen how to utilize the concept of Vlookup and Hlookup, and we have also implemented and utilized the concept of index and match. So in the next session, we'll be looking at text functions. Thank you.